Hey everyone, Desiree here. So in today's video, I'm going to show you my setup of the HB90 Method goal planning inserts. And I'm also going to give you my first impressions, my first thoughts on the system or the method of what I have gathered so far. I have decided that I'm probably going to use the HB90 method for One Book July, and I talked about that in my last video, and if you haven't seen it, I will link it down below. But I have been working on my setup for July, and I got the HB90 planner inserts set up. And I'm still kind of, tweaking it here and there, but I've got it set up and I want to walk through it with you because I have had several of you reach out to me asking my thoughts on it. What do I think? How do I, feel about the inserts or the method or the system so far? So I'd like to talk about that in today's video. Now, I have decided that I am going to be using my Webster's Pages A5 ring binder for One Book July. I have really fallen back in love with a ringed planner, and so I think that's going to be perfect for me just for at least the month of July to really focus on this system and to really make some progress in my goals. Now, I have always kind of struggled with goal setting. I set goals, I do good for a week or two, and then I fall off track. So I'm committed to doing this for the entire month of July, and I'm going to see what happens. So let's go ahead and get right to it. So like I said, this is a Webster's Pages A5 6-ring binder. I think the pattern is called Gold Dots or something like that. It's got a kind of an off-white color with gold polka dots, and it's really, really nice. I picked it up on clearance for only $6. And I also did a video on this too, so if you go back a few videos, you can see that, and you can see the unboxing and all that. So here is my setup so far. Now, I have not done a whole lot to, get it really cutesy, but I did get it pretty for me, and I basically just used what I have. So you can see over here, all I have in here is pieces of scrapbook paper that I thought just looked really, really nice and colorful and fun. I may add more to these pockets at some point, but right now this is enough for me, so it's working. And I also have a piece of scrap paper in this little pocket as well. And again, it's just for decorative purposes. There's really no function with any of this. It's just so it's pretty when I open up the binder. In this back pocket here, I have some stickers that I want to make sure I use up. These are leftover Erin Condren stickers from, I think this was from the last seasonal surprise box, if I'm not mistaken. So I just want to use these up because I have them and I thought the colors matched with what I've got going on. So my first dashboard here is, I think this is from, oh shoot, I can't remember. I want to say Carpe Diem or Agenda 52, one of those. And I bought these last year, and they're just a clear divider that has some gold accent. And again, I thought it worked really well with this particular planner. I have a piece of scrapbook paper next here. Again, I thought it matched. This is a piece of vellum that came with this planner. I loved it, so I kept it in here. And then we get into the HB90 method. Now, if you're not familiar with this particular system, goal setting system, it is by Sarra Cannon. I hope I'm saying that correctly. And she has a channel here on YouTube called Heart Breathings. She is a very prolific and successful writer, and I really admire her, and I really like her productivity tips and her style of just kind of how she manages to get everything done, being a mom, having a new baby, and all the, just doing all the things. So she has this method, and it's broken down into quarters. Now, she sells the inserts. I think you can buy them undated and then just reuse them each quarter, or you can buy them printed each quarter, which is what I did because this is my first time trying it and I wanted to see how I liked it before I invested in the whole, I guess, system. So you can see here it's HB90 Method Q3 2020. Now, I have to say, if you are printed or printer challenged like I am, that right off the bat was difficult for me. I had a hard time printing these because they're formatted for an A5 size and also an 8.5 by 11 letter size. What I had thought before I purchased this was I thought I was going to be able to print the inserts side by side on a letter, on like a letter size piece of paper, and then I would just trim it in half and use it as half letter size. I know half letter size is different from A5, but I was totally fine with that, you know, because I thought it would be easy to print. Well, no, it's not. What I had to do is I had to buy A5 paper from Amazon, and then I had to put the A5 paper into my printer, and then I printed these onto the A5 paper. Now, I did not want an extra expense of having to buy A5 paper, but I ended up having to do that because I could not figure out how to format the inserts to fit side by side on just a regular letter sheet of paper. So that was my first kind of frustration with these. I emailed Sarah. I asked her if she could help me. She said she couldn't, and I was frustrated and just ended up breaking down and buying the paper. Excuse me. So if you are like me, printer challenge, that is just something to keep in mind because these are formatted again for A5. It will not work on regular letter or half letter size side by side. So I bought the paper, printed it. So far, so good. Now her method is actually, I really, really like it. It is very, very thorough. It is very, very simple. Now you can see I've kind of already started decorating with washi tape here. You're going to see that in this first section because I just kind of wanted to kind of get a head start on it before July hit. So she's got it broken down, and honestly, you guys, it's very, very easy to follow. It's not complicated. She really talks about how to really map out your goals and how to focus and how to break down your goals, which I find that was always a hard thing for me. It's like, you know, I wanted to do all these things, but I didn't really have any type of guidance or system to help me break down the goals into manageable chunks. And I know we all know that. I know that in my head, but I didn't know that in practice. Like it was hard for me to actually do that and implement it. So she talks about that. You know, she talks about your vision statement here. Then she has your vision, your ideal day, your vision board, declutter your brain. She has some really nice quotes in here, which I thought were very useful. And she gives you a lot of space. Now, if you're going to do this in an 8.5 by 11, you're going to have even more space to even work in. But this is going to work great for me. So here she talks about prioritizing your lists and how it works, and how to kind of figure out your time and how to create a schedule for yourself. This is what I really like too. She has a time estimator, and then she has here where you actually calculate how many days you can work out of the total number of days. This quarter you got 92 days. How many days are you going to actually be working? You know, you mark off the days you want off, or say you have an event or you have somewhere to go or you're going to be on vacation, whatever. You mark those off and you get a very clear visual of how many days you can actually work. So I love that. Then she has your ideal week, ongoing task, and I just really like it. You know, it's very, very simple. It's very well thought out. It's very clear, and it's not overwhelming. And so far, I'm really, really loving that. So now we get into the goals here. You talk about your goals just for Q3, and her focus is on 3 goals. So you're not overwhelmed, but you're still making progress on 3 goals. You're only focusing on 3 goals at a time. And then she gives you space to look ahead where you have Q4, then Q1, 2, and 3 for 2021. You got project and task here, and then you have a space to brainstorm. And then you have space to also map out your goals, which I will be working on this, but I didn't want to write in it, until I filmed this video because it was going to get messy. Then you have a project planner. Then you have, she talks about a Kanban board. I'm setting mine up. I'll be sharing that with you guys as well. Milestones here, which is good to kind of keep you motivated and encouraged along the way. Then she talks about exactly how to use this planner. So if you don't understand something or the layout looks weird, you can always come back here and see what her intention was with that particular page or that layout or whatever. Then she gives you year-at-a-glance calendars for 2020 and 2021. And then we go right into the month pages. So I put dividers in here. Now this was my second frustrating issue with the planner. Now if you're like me, I like to create sections in my notebook setup. So the way this is printed, and let me show you what I mean here. So the way this is printed in the file is like this. You get the make it happen, then on the very next page it gives you the July layout. Now if you're like me and you want to keep your months separate from the instructional part of the planner, you want to be able to separate these two pages, right? You don't want this back to back. You want to be able to have a blank page, which is what I did. So I had to go back and reprint this page by itself. And then I had to go back and reprint this page by itself because it initially comes back to back, because I wanted to be able to put a divider between the two. Now obviously, if you're putting it all in one book, that doesn't matter to you, that's fine. But I really wish she would have kind of given us the option to do that. That way I can keep my months separate from the rest of the planner, because I don't need all of this part, and I really don't even need 2021 calendar either. So that was just something else that I noticed. But anyways, so you get to the actual dated part of the planner. So you get a month on 2 pages. This is in the way. So you get a month on 2 pages, right? You get a monthly. Then you get a task page where you focus on your 3 goals here. And then you have a place to jot notes. Now this planner is set up for writers. I'm not a writer, but I do writing, like for my blog and freelance work and stuff. So you can apply it to anything. You don't have to be a writer. But this is got, it does have some writer-specific things on here. I'm just going to ignore that. Then you get a weekly layout, which I think is fantastic. And then you move into your daily pages, and you get a page per day, which is wonderful because I like having the option to either have my week at a glance and then flip through to my daily pages as well. So that just pretty much repeats throughout the whole entire planner. And then when you get to the end of the week, you get a reflections page, and then you go into the new week and you get your task page again. So you can keep track of your, your projects, your tasks, the steps, things you're working on. So I really like the layout. I mean, honestly, this is like what I would consider a dream planner for me. I love that it has a monthly, a weekly, and a daily layout all in one. And I like that I have the flexibility to focus on daily pages if I need them, and if I don't need them, I can just stay on the weekly page. I love that. So when we get to the end of July, you're going to get a July review page, and here is where you just reflect on the month. Did you achieve your goals? Did you hit your markers? Did you do everything you wanted to do, and so forth? So that is really nice. So you get a end of the week reflection, then you get an end of the month reflection. And again, this is repeated for all 3 months in the quarter. But now we get to frustration number 3. So I have my July review, right? When I get to the end of July, I have a July review. Now we're going into August, and I already talked about how I had to reprint these pages because I wanted to keep them separate. I want the months separate, and I wanted to use dividers. When we get to the end of August, we get an August review. All good, right? Now we're moving into September. When we get to the end of September, where's my September review pages? That was something that totally kind of threw me off because I'm like, well, you gave me July and August month in review page, but when I get to the end of September, I have a weekly review page, but I don't have a September month in review page. Now, I don't know if that was just an oversight or if she intended it that way because she wants you to purchase the next quarter and maybe the September month in review is in the Q4 planner set. I don't know, but I just thought that was kind of odd that she didn't include a September month in review. It just goes to notes pages, and then it goes into another section which is not part of the actual dated planner. You just have these pages here, which is a writing plan, a word count tracker, time log, blog post, brainstorm, tasks, notes, and that is it. So, like I said, it's very well thought out. It's very simple. It's not overwhelming. I love the method. I love the system so far from what I've seen. Now, again, I haven't started using it yet because I'm using it on July 1st. So I'll have a much more thorough opinion about it once I actually start using it on the day-to-day. But those 3 frustrations were kind of off-putting. Now, I don't know, it could just be me because I'm very, very picky when it comes to this kind of stuff, but I don't like when something is not user-friendly for me. Now, like I said, I already admit I'm printer challenged. I'm very, very much weak in that area. But at the same time, I just like, I want things to be consistent. I want things that are supposed to be there, and I want options, like I want options for, printing this because I want to separate my sections. And, but like I said, that could have just been an oversight. And those are probably my only 3 little complaints about the planner. But overall, I really do like it, you guys. I have full confidence that I can make this work and that I can do this and that I can make progress in my personal goals using this system. I really like Sarra. I really like her content, and I like, how she does things. And so I admire her, and I'm very inspired by how she does things and being able to adapt her system to work for me in my life. So when we get to the end of the planner, I have a clear piece of acetate. I think this came with the planner. Then I have another piece of scrapbook paper, and then I have this zip pouch with just some journaling cards that I thought I might use, I don't know, for inspiration throughout the months. Then I have a page lifter, and then I have some more journaling cards that were from the scrapbook where I got all of this pretty paper from. And then that is the end. So that is my setup. Those are my thoughts and my first impressions and kind of a preview of the HB90 Method Q3. Like I said, I'll do a check-in probably mid-July to let you know how things are going, and then I will have a much more thorough, like I said, opinion at the end of the month of July and let you know how this worked for me. But like I said, I feel totally confident that it will work, and I feel totally confident that I can adapt it and, you know, use it to accomplish goals. So I know this was kind of a long video, but I just wanted to be very, very thorough, and I wanted to share this because I know I had, like I said, I had several questions, and a lot of people wanted to know how I'm using it and what my thoughts were, and I wanted to make sure I included everything. If you have any questions about this, feel free to drop them down in the comment section below. And if you are using the HB90 method, if you have used the HB90 method, what are your thoughts? I'd love to hear other people's opinions and what their takeaways were and how the method or the system is working for them. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for choosing to watch. And if you're not subscribed, please make sure you do so, because I do have a lot more videos to come. All right, everyone. Thanks again. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.